Hey guys, with this episode is a little bit different. It wasn't even supposed to be an episode. It was a meeting that just turned into something I thought we should share. This is two brothers from Hawai'i. It wasn't even on the maps until like I was an adult. Like, oh, finally we're on the map. Josh is someone I know literally from day one. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and since then he's made leaps and bounds when it comes to marketing. A lot of things to do with not just organizations here in Hawaii, but communities.
Amazing people, Josh here with Salt Light Collaborative. It is our mission to helping you get more business, more clients, and more money by the art of storytelling.
Josh is a really positive, God-driven man who is on a mission to help communities here in Hawaii. And he's doing it in many ways that I had stuff to learn from him as well. Our conversation just started snowballing in such a way that I was like, we need to record this. That's why I'm not sure if it's going to have a clear start or not. The audio, I think at one point it was just this mic, like just in between us, until I was like, you know what, let's just shoot something, and then boom, we take his mic out and stuff. So forgive the quality, but again, don't forgive it because that's what you expect here. That's what the bad in 100 bad videos is all about, right? Just doing it. So I take that back. I'm not apologizing for that. Side note, since we're talking about someone who is from the same neighborhood as I am, let's talk about my roots, my mom, right? My mom was a single parent, and she mentioned to me, by the way, I'm going to get her on here. We're going to do this with my mom. She's looking forward to it as well. I think she doesn't understand exactly what is it going to be live, or there's a lot of things that we still have to get through to actually get it, but that'll give you guys a good idea about me. Is my mom. Single parent, raised us up in this neighborhood that Josh was a part of. So Josh knows my mom. I know his mom and dad. I know his family, his siblings. He knows mine. It's that kind of thing. It's a very Hawaii thing. And Josh's dad was one of my dads, if you will. And my mom brought it up to me now as an adult, as a parent myself. She brought up how she was so grateful for other males, other fathers in our neighborhood, in our circles, who gave me opportunities that she couldn't. And Josh's dad, one opportunity that he gave me and my brother growing up was free diving, snorkeling with a spear and fins, basically, and trying to go out and poke fish. Like, that's something my mother couldn't do that Josh's dad gave us many, many ample opportunities to enjoy. So when I think of Josh, I think of a lot of things that go back to the root. And he is the guy, the epitome of like community power. He lives it through his family, his lineage, like I just mentioned, the impact that his father had on us, my brother and I, my family. But us, like Hawaii, this is a very Hawaii kind of thing, our relationship. And it wasn't supposed to be an episode, but then it kind of turned into one. So here you go. This is Josh. Okay. So it's a little impromptu thing. And to be honest, it's 27 minutes into the recording, but I only started the recording, I don't know, an hour or something. It felt like an hour. It's probably somewhere around there. More than that, I'm connecting with Josh. Josh is the brother from literally looking out this window. We just started like looking at where we came from. It's a little dot on the map. It wasn't even on the map of Oahu until we're like adults. Small little place, Honokai, represent. We've come a long way. We're catching up, talking about how we can align ourselves here with what we're doing, our missions. And so I just kind of wanted to say, one, thanks for coming.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks for sharing all the things you're doing, and forgive us for like, you might see little clips of it where we're just basically using, what's up, Kayla? Where we're just using this mic. It's kind of like ghetto-ly set up, but now we're here properly. So let's just kind of tee it up. What people are going to see in this. Well, first of all, just kind of give me your intro. I like your intro, who you are, but also how you explain your company's name.
Yeah.
Let's hear that.
Honored to be here. I mean, I know that you're not short of talking to anybody, to tell you that much. So I'm honored to be here. But yeah, I have a company called Salt Light Collaborative, Salt Light Collab for short. And the idea here is salt. You know, salt is something that's always gonna make it better. So if you've ever had steak without salt, we got problems. like a hard-boiled egg without salt, we got problems. So
Who does that?
I don't know. I don't even know why I brought up eggs, but so the idea is anywhere we go, any room, any project, any relationship we have, the idea is to always bring salt, to always make things better. And then the second thing is light, right? And that light is always, it's countering darkness. So it's guiding people. It's helping people. It's being that brother. It's just going above and beyond to helping people get out of the dark. Sometimes it's as easy as here's an idea and then reworking a script. Sometimes it's literally meeting up with people and just having coffee just to make sure they're okay. And in this world, it feels like people forget about that. It's so factual. It's all about money. There's all these things going around. But if we forget the relational aspect of who people are, they're people, I think we miss opportunities. And then collab. It's the idea that, we're not in it for ourselves. I truly believe that we can all win. It's a concept that was instilled by my dad, really early on playing sports and just the way that we conduct each other with each other, we can all win. So it's this idea of, bringing in, being that salt, showing that light, and then doing it together with other people. And that's how I started the company. Yeah.
Love it, because it has a lot of ties to Hawaii too, where
Yeah.
we're born and raised. So
Absolutely.
and also the ocean. Shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
He's the one who taught us how to spearfish. The first three prong I ever had, like going diving over here.
Yeah.
Like literally, now it's shoreline fish. I don't jump in as much, but I still think about the first kola I caught.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Me too, man. Me too.
Boy, that bugger stayed in the freezer for months. My mom was like,
Yeah,
"Are we gonna?"
Faye must have been like, "Hey, what is this, Kenji?
We're gonna eat this or what?" Like, it was like a trophy. I probably should have got him. It was kind of small, but like, as a kid, you're like, "Oh, this is the only one. This is my chest."
So important.
I couldn't dive like your dad, and I was like, but anyway, like that's very. I love the name.
Thank you.
It's very true to who you are, and it's very personal too. Because I'm like, yeah, man. Salt, like collab, those things hit on everything that my values are too. It's just I didn't articulate it in a name that's like so concise, and like it when you unpack it, it's beautiful. And so we're discussing how to collaborate.
Yeah.
The third one.
There you go.
Salt, like
That's why we're
collab.
here. Yeah.
And I think we just had the first conversation of many. So stay tuned, because I don't know how I'm gonna cut this up, but just tell people where they can find you.
We're on a website, so saltlightcollab.com, and then you can catch us on all the social platforms. But we're kind of doing a bunch of things, so you'll just see us flash all over television. And
one thing I really liked about a conversation right here, which we'll kind of end it on, is your perspective into media on a larger scale, because of international, national, and local broadcasting level productions that you've been a part of. Bringing that insight into adjacent, or maybe even you could say the new scenery that is online media, video consumption.
Yeah.
So would you kind of briefly lay that landscape for us real quick?
Sure. If we take it from a purely viewership perspective, right, when we get analytical, everything revolves around eyes, supposedly, right? Advertisers put money into television programs or movies or whatnot for eyes. Basically, they want their product or they want their show to be seen, which will then turn into money.
Dollars.
Yeah, exactly. But what I've seen, and this has been a trend for a while, and there's no secret to this. Most people, if they're real with themselves, they're going to be honest. Television has been on a decline, and they're trying to do these things that's going to, they'll get pops of certain things. They're changing the way that programming is done. The days of like Friends and Seinfeld is done. I mean, I love them. They're absolutely, amazing.
I bet you now they get watched more on these streaming platforms.
Yeah, big time.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Like look at The Office, right? They said I'm a massive Office fan. Huge Office fan. And they said that the Netflix reruns was making them way more money and way more viewership, and they're actually more popular now than they were when they were coming out. And so it's this idea that, network television, there's a decline there in eyes. But in the same space, we've been seeing the raw and realness of social presence, whether it's YouTube, podcasts like what you're doing and doing a really good job at, Instagram, social media influencers, that's up. And it's not even a gradual increase. It's here, and it came really quick, right? Just 20 years ago, Facebook and just the way that you would interact with social media. I remember like MySpace and even like Asian Avenue, you know? Like,
yeah, okay, that's
yeah, like it wasn't what it is now, and it was just for a certain demographic. But so the interaction between international, national, and then like local television and platforms is there's a massive need to integrate or find a bridge between that gap in social media. And so what we're seeing, or what my company has been doing, is we've been working in that gap. We've been building that bridge. We've been working with influencers and getting them television shows and bringing the social side, social media side into that network side. And there's two things that needs to happen is if you're on the social media side, if you have your own content, or you've got to think big picture, you know, because you know that's where the networks are starting to grow. I'll give you an example. Bretman Rock just getting, the MTV deal, that's genius to me. MTV knows that Bretman Rock has 18 point something million followers, and if he started his own television channel, to be real, it's probably going to be more than MTV, himself. And so there's an idea here that if you're cultivating, if you're creating content, if you call yourself an influencer or want to be in that space, I would say build knowing that you're the commodity, that you're not just somebody in like, I don't know, Hawaii just shooting things. Like, you treat yourself in that way. But there's another side, is if you're on the network side, you do normally conventional, television or whatever that is, programming. It's understanding that this is where we're going and having the eye to cultivate these influencers. And so, yeah, I think that's the lay of the land. That's what we're doing, is we're just trying to be that bridge, and we're just helping both sides see it, because the money on the network side is there to support the people who are willing to give the content.
So you're kind of brokering.
In a way.
You're kind of a broker, a content broker.
Yeah, because we see it. I've seen it on both sides. And the interesting thing is, it's almost as if it's two completely different people just talking two different languages. And there's a really big thing that I've seen there. It's going to sound weird, but there's an age gap.
It's not weird at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to offend anybody, but that's kind of what it is.
And that, as you know what? Dang, I never thought of it this way. But yes, there's an age gap. So we think of these traditional, conventional systems, that is, let's say, television broadcasting, programming. And then what I wouldn't even say it's coming. It's already here. It's already here. I think music was a little ahead of the game as far as I am the commodity.
Right.
I own it. And you want some? Let's talk. Let's make a deal.
Right.
That kind of, I think maybe was music first, the 360 deals and all of that with artists.
Big time.
And then now all of a sudden we're all artists.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
And we should take that same page from their playbook, applying it to our, not music, but our content, our videos and stuff. So you're seeing this. And now what's happening? The people who go here and say, I'm the artist, I own it, you want it, let's talk. They are talking, the person on the other side of the table is, like you said, there's a generation gap right here. But I love the examples of where that gap doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And you see this in a lot of decision-making rooms and stuff, where they have the know-withal. Like I said, no one wants to be the next Blockbuster example.
Right.
They know, there's not stupid people in these chairs.
Right.
And they get it. Some. Mm-hmm. I think at large, what you say is very true. But there's some that like acknowledge it and like know they have to, but they don't know how.
Yeah.
And so that's where you come in.
That's it.
And you're like, look, thank you for acknowledging the need.
Right.
Here's how I can address that.
Absolutely.
Here's A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. I can call right now. I have meetings right now with, and it's going to align perfectly with what you're making an effort for.
Right.
I think, because, old people, I don't want to say old people are stupid, but like we're all going to be old one day. Right. And I think that the fact that we're in the 30-somethings, we literally are in between those generations.
Yeah.
We literally are between that seat and this seat, between that system and this system. Right. That's already arrived. That's already here, proven.
Right.
by these deals like Bretman Rock, you say MTV. One example, one of our like shining examples being from West Side of Hawaii, right? But like, there's a lot more examples.
Oh yeah.
That prove it's here.
Oh yeah.
It's been here. It ain't going nowhere.
No.
More so, if you're listening to this and you are that creator, own your shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You own it.
Take ownership.
And
Yeah. Well, I would say maybe the biggest, and I don't want to go too long, but like the biggest thing that I'm seeing from a lot of these networks, it's not necessarily is this legit? It's, is this a fad? Like, is this just a period? Because a lot of these guys, they've seen a lot of things come and go. So is it, wow, yeah, this social media craze, is this just a fad? And that's so if you're creating content, some of the things that I think these networks are looking at is, hey, these people, they don't understand storyboarding. They don't understand how to have the right angles or do these right cuts, or they don't understand what it means to be on camera. But here's the truth. Nowhere else are you going to find but an influencer or a social media person where they capture, they cut, they edit, they're the host, they're marketing, and like they do it all. And so it's more convincing these CEOs and showrunners that, listen, it's not a fad, and we take this seriously, and I've learned, and you can see the progression through. Let's just use Bretman.
Yeah.
From the very beginning of what he was doing to what the kind of content he's doing now, and albeit he has a team, and he's just a genius. But the thought is, help me convince these guys that this is a real deal by learning and growing and getting better at what you do. Right.
What is the biggest objection from these guys?
Yeah,
these
basically,
network guys.
Basically,
I'm assuming they're men too.
Television is going to outlast this whole thing. That's it. I mean,
that's their biggest.
Yeah, this is. I think that a lot of them, maybe the ones who are not fully on board, they acknowledge it, they recognize it, they see it. Maybe there's also a portion of you can't monetize that. You can't monetize that, but that's a whole other thing too. If you've got a following, let me put this in terms that I see it.
Yeah.
So we just go, wow, I got 4,000 or 10,000 people following me, right? And like you go, oh, that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Like when somebody says 100,000, we go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But check this out. If you were like standing, I don't know, at a park, and 10,000 people came.
Yeah.
Just try 5,000.
Yeah.
Do you realize?
You need a permit.
Yeah. Like you got barricades and security because it's not like 10, 20 people. So like if you are a content artist or content creator, or you're a social influencer or anything, that's a lot of weight. And like you don't even grasp or understand 10,000 people follow you. It's just massive. So a lot of these people, maybe they acknowledge it. Maybe they say, wow, yeah, hey, that's really nice. You've got a lot of followers, but how do you monetize that? And here's what the good ones are doing. The people that go, you know what? You're right. I'm not just creating funny content now for mom and dad. How do I make a living out of this? That's when you get smart and you go, okay, I got to work with Josh.
Yeah.
I work with Ken, somebody who knows what's up. But like merchandise and advertising, and what does that look like? And there's definitely a system there. And if you can monetize it, you can say, hey, I've got 20,000 followers and this is how I've monetized it. And you need me to do a show here because all of your advertisers, all of their stuff's going to be sold and all of your ratings are going to go up. So therefore you make more money. That's the kind of that next step where I think guys like Bretman have found it. They've unlocked it,
Unlocking, found, like it almost implies it's a secret because,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, where's the playbook?
Yeah.
And a lot of the monetization that I see happening in this space is the pay me so I can tell you how to do what I did.
Right.
Which is a little bit like a nepotism kind of like, I'm this, you want to be that, you want to be this, pay me, I'll give you my breadcrumbs.
Right.
Basically, which is like, I get it. And you know what? A lot of people doing it actually have a valid exchange there. Because the people who buy their course,
Right.
people who buy their 10 steps to this and that.
Right.
That's a very, very healthy online digital economy right
Sure.
now, right? And you can find that. So I'm thinking for these people in like these networks, TV, program, what they're thinking is, we know what works as far as getting our return on, basically getting our return.
Right.
Advertising money is something that we're used to. Super Bowl is a perfect example in America, right?
Right.
That equation is not the equation that's happening over here.
Right.
And so we don't know. Are you going to tell me that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can you lay it out for me in a way that, I'm not saying like, Josh, tell me, but like,
no, I'll lay it out. I'll give you what I think.
Can you, like on this side, what would that be?
Yeah. I think when we start something, we especially social media, most of the times we're not starting with the end result. So you're building your brand in front of everyone and you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
But once you hit a certain threshold where you've got more followers than you even know by name, they know you, you don't know them. You've got to really sit down and say, what is my brand? I'm a personality, right? Like not like even Kim Kardashian has a brand. She knows who she is. So my thing is first is like be true to not who you want to be, but like who are you? So like just sit down and go, look at my followers. You can't have like 100,000 hunting followers and then start saying you want to do like, I don't know, real estate. And it happens all the time. I'm like, why are you like, this makes no sense. So like you first is you got to know who you are. And when any type of agent, sponsorship or a network, if it's not clear, right off the bat where you go, hey, you know what? Wow, I saw that post. That guy is 100% a hunter. If you can't get that quickly, then it's going to be hard.
So you're talking about the brand.
Yeah. So know your brand and be honest with yourself. And here's the thing. This happens. This is maybe you've been cultivating a brand and you don't know, unintentionally you've got things out there. You're like, you know what? Honestly, I want to be known as a real estate agent. That's the kind of things and that's part of it. But you also got like your family stuff and you got like hunting and you got, I don't know, whatever, politics, whatever. Then my suggestion is start moving to where you're going to be most marketable. Because when I'm having a conversation on behalf of you and I go, hey, you know what? There's a television show of this hunter. He's really, really good on camera and he's just got like gems. This person's got knowledge and you just fall in love with this person. And then they go, yeah, but like that's him 30% of the time. What happens is for these network people, I'm going to just say people, they can't find the right agent, the right sponsors.
Yeah.
So you could go to Sports Authorities, RIP, you know,
my bro used to work there.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I totally forgot when he had short hair. Ty, I forgot. Yeah. Man, I looked up to your brother doing that. Okay, anyway. Yeah. You know what? Where do you get the funding for that? So it's kind of hard.
It sounds like, so for that seat, it's very much so an equation. I get it.
Yep.
Who are you? How can I put advertisers' dollars behind you?
Yep.
And then guarantee, give this advertiser a reasonable percentage, a range of their return, right? I know that if I pair this influencer with your ads, this is probably what's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you what's been happening real quick as to why that's important. Yeah. So it used to be, we got the advertiser at Sports Authority. And then they go, no, let's go find somebody who we can act the part, right? That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
Now it's different. It's, we got an advertiser, it's Sports Authority, and then you go, these people are that part.
These people, when I look at their account and their brand,
that's it.
This person is a runner.
There it is.
This person lifts.
Yep.
This person is a CrossFitter. Is that
CrossFit? Look at that person's abs. Obviously, this is a CrossFit.
So as the creator, to plug into that, as far as this is all about monetization, by the way. Sure. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
You can do what you want to do.
Absolutely.
But when you talk about getting ad dollars, even sponsorships,
big time
right?
sponsorships.
It's like, are you a clear enough representation that I can align my money with, okay, here's the deal. And now let's work it out. Versus, so here's the other part where I've heard this sentiment on the creator side is, I don't want to be pigeonholed, but I'm more than that. Right?
Absolutely.
We all are. Right? And it's like, the last time I had the conversation, I was like, look, last time I saw you, you were hungry. I don't expect you to be hungry right now. I know you're more than a hungry person. And people change. I get this. We all understand that. But,
sure,
when you are that person and you're, I guess I want to say predictable. Right? When and to your point is that you can create and compartmentalize. Let's say you make a whole new account where you pour all of that person. Right. I make clay pots, I go fishing, and I CrossFit. All right. Yeah. Maybe then your clay pot is the one that maybe is the most easy to align with advertiser money and stuff. So you're talking about brand strategy. Right. You're doing a lot in terms of taking this person who has multiple aspects to their life. Right. And saying, well, if you want to be marketable, let's bonsai your accounts a little bit.
Well, I don't want it to seem like you're doing one thing, but here's some realities. Okay. Whether you're cultivating your brand or not, it is being cultivated. So you have the ability to create what people say about you by how you create your content, or put whatever you want out there and people will do it for you. And so I've seen this time and time again where, you've got an amazing influencer, they're doing a million things, but if you were to ask some random person that follows them, you go, hey, why do you follow so-and-so? They're going to tell you what that brand is. Now, maybe you don't even like what they say. Yeah. That's not their fault. It's your fault because you didn't take a second to just cultivating it and say, I want to be known in this space. So you can do all of them, but just understand that if you're not cultivating it, somebody else is. And then the second thing that's really important for me, I think that's important in this space. Oh, I totally just blanked out because
cultivating. You make a choice. You cultivate or someone else will.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Wait. Oh, dang it. I totally lost it.
It'll come back when it does, because what you just said is real powerful. Yeah. And I want to make sure that doesn't fall on deaf ears. Right. If you don't cultivate it, someone will do it for you. Absolutely. And that's what you sign up for every time you say post and you make it public. Right. It's different when you have private accounts and stuff. And I liken it to, and this is the thing, like, it's funny, it's so timely because just yesterday I was outside playing with the girls, right, on the street, just neighbors and stuff. And I looked down and I'm like, damn, this dude looked like he just rolled out of bed. You know what I mean? And I thought about it, I was like, you just go in some thoughts sometimes and letting kids play. And I was like, what was I looking like? Because earlier that day, we went to Pro Ridge. I was wearing the same thing. I was like, yo, time out. What I'm doing right now is kind of like posting, right? Where my checklist is, am I naked? No, let's go.
We're good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's kind of the attitude a lot of people have to when they post something publicly. Yeah. It's out there. Got it, boom, post.
That's it.
Versus this makes a difference. Right. And you have control of that. Right. And so kind of, I get it, you're not naked, you can go outside. Yeah. But on top of that, you can control this. Yeah. In fact, I talk at length about this with one of my friends who has, I don't know what you consider, some people say 5,000 is like micro-influencer. Yeah. There's numbers and different ways to classify it, but he's in the 10,000-ish range. Nice. But he's got multiple videos with multiple millions of views on Instagram Reels. So he and I have lengthy conversations about Instagram versus YouTube. Like I mentioned, I have more experience in YouTube than Instagram. He has way more experience and in numbers to back it up. So we really dive in. What works with him to this point about me, like I looked down and I was like, what am I wearing? Yeah. He said, look, I'm very, 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 in fact, almost more energy goes into the beginning front loading part of this is how I'm going to look online. Wow. I'm going to have these glasses, this kind of hat, this kind of shirt. Yep. and I'll have some variations of it. So basically, he's got a wardrobe. What I'm
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
is, oh, like back to the television side of things. There's a wardrobe. There's a green room. There's a person whose job it is to be
I
wardrobe.
got it, Kenj. But yeah. Oh, finally, dude.
Go.
My bad.
So
but I'm with you in the green room. Keep on going.
The decisions that he makes, not just with the content what he's going to post, but also how he's going to be represented visually,
Yeah.
where he's going to position himself in the frame,
Yeah.
the visual branding. Let me just wrap it up with that. Visual branding, he's making that choice,
Yep.
and we all do. So
Like there is no one way, right? Like I don't. What might work for one person won't work for the other, and we represent all these influencers, and I can tell you right now, they're all different. You know, some of them they pour their heart out every day, and you're like, dang, this is raw and real. And then others, it's so polished, it's unbelievable. You're like, man, that guy's really good at what he does, right? And there's a space for everybody. What I was thinking about in our branding and how we approach it is, if at the end of the day you've got a following, and you know you don't want to conform to what's not real in you. Let's be honest here. You got to where you're at because you're genuine. Or disgenuine people on social media don't do well at all, because social media actually allows you to see through that. So you're there because you're genuine. So you don't want to do anything that's going to go backwards. But what I would say is this, is if you look at the people who follow you, it's kind of like, what do they say? You are the makeup of your top 5 friends around you.
yes, yeah.
So if you look at your followers and you see some sort of connecting, whatever it is, word or style or something, then that is the direction that you've organically grown, and that is what is probably most important for monetizing. Because if I own skateboarding company, and let's just say you're not a skateboarder, like that's not what you do, but let's just say you're fashion, and what you represent in fashion is everything that mission and vision statement on the business end represents, then you'll get that client, right? So it really is understanding, maybe not necessarily all the things that you're doing in the direction, but understanding the type of pool you have, the type of influence you have. Then you can kind of cross different bridges. But yeah, that's what I had.
Is there a moment in this kind of conversation when you're sitting across me? I want to increase my influence on social media. We're having a conversation. Is there a moment? Well, I'm sure there is, but when you have to convince me of changing my ways, how does that go for you? Like,
you know
what I
to be
mean?
honest, we've never had that conversation, period. Because here, the way that I see it is, okay, if you're already established, let's just say you have, I'm going to go with 7,000 followers. So you're a micro influencer. It's more than me, I'll tell you that much, right?
Yeah.
So like, clearly you're doing something right. The conversations are more of, do you like where you're going? Because if you don't, and we put gasoline on this thing, and you're known as the expert archer, like bow and arrow,
Yeah.
and you hate shooting bow and arrows, then you're gonna find yourself actually where you're unhappy, and unhappy creatives, period, will do bad work. So I've never had to convince anybody to doing anything, but here's what normally happens is we have an exploratory meeting,
Yeah.
and I go, you tell me.
What do you?
With your OnlyFans,
yeah.
look at your followers.
Yeah.
Now, you're trying to get Gap to be your Old Navy, or Gap to be your sponsor. Look at your followers, and do those people buy Gap? And when the answer is probably not, then 2 things need to happen. You either got to make a change,
Yeah.
or you got to go get different agents. You got to go get different sponsors, right?
So when you talk about this exploratory phase and you're diving into someone's existing followers,
Yeah.
right? Not like the potential followers or the
Right.
target audience, right? Existing. And you find, let's say, hey, look, the pie chart.
Right.
50% of these people would answer this is why I follow this account.
Yeah.
And let's say it is
Creepers.
because bow and arrow, or well, if OnlyFans.
Yeah, you say like there's 80% of them are creepers. Like, okay, well.
There's the creeper factor, that slice, depending on what kind of content you put out.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's say your pie chart, large majority is bow and arrows.
Right.
And I pitch, or you go and try and sell, connect the dots, bow and arrow company, influencer.
Sure.
Striking out, left, right, can't get it. Well, then wouldn't it kind of make sense then? We know that this is the following for this person, me, the influencer, to then offer my own bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And or some version of that. Maybe I can't source it the right way. I got to buy this from China. I don't have the warehouse space, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But then for me to then produce it, because I feel like now, not just with merch, we see this in merch. I think it's the easy low hanging fruit for this, where it's like, I don't have a Gap sponsorship, but I have my own merch store. There's all these different platforms that make it so easy for anybody to basically sell merch. Right. Drop shipping. I never have to touch it. I never have to store it. Right. I don't. And being in Hawaii is such a hassle for anything. Shipping anything to and from Hawaii. Yeah. So that's already like that's an uphill battle for us.
Right.
But there's ways around it.
Right.
So like the merch aspect is a low-hanging fruit. Everyone should do it. Great. Right. And if you target it into your existing pie chart, you're like, I know there's this much people following. Yeah. If I just convert X% of that, there we go. But then there's also things like the digital services and goods.
Absolutely.
The coaching, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Be like me. I can tell you how I did it. Mastermind groups, courses, PDFs, ebooks, all of these. I say that to say that the monetization process, this is, again, back to my friend who's killing it on Instagram and me on YouTube, our conversation was views or dollars.
Big time.
A lot of times they're connected. A lot of times they're kind of replaceable. But I think to your point about where do you want to go?
Right.
Thinking, like you said, bigger.
Right.
Even if you're an influencer, think bigger. What's your brand? What's your visual brand? What's your strategy? What's your exit?
Yeah.
When you think about that, then you can say, all right, well, there's other ways. I don't have to beg the platform gods that is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram for their CPM. Like your CPM in this category is this and this. Like it feels so. There's a lot less autonomy there versus me deciding I'm going to offer to my following, however big it is.
Right.
However big it is, I'll offer to my following this thing that I know will help them. Or they want.
Right.
And that goes to just having your ear to the ground, knowing one, that pie chart of your audience, two, the questions, basically the identity bestowed onto you, not to your, like if you ask them, why do you follow them?
Right.
Oh man, I just love the makeup advice she gives.
Yep.
Boom, put out lipstick or eyeliner. I'm talking about something. I'm a bald dude talking about makeup. Hold on. You know what I mean? Hold on. I don't know hair and makeup. That's not my lane.
He has a lot of hair. This is a bald cap.
Shaved my head the other day trying to like go back to razors. But you know, like I say the hair and makeup because
it's huge. That's a huge industry.
Kardashians, like what was it? Jenner? Like I'm talking about it. Yeah. Because I see how, again, you're putting the power in the creators, in the creators' hands to then say, this is my audience. Yep. This is my following.
That's it.
When I'm talking to you, just know there's 10,000 people, 10 million people
backing me on this,
following me. Yeah. That kind of power is relatively new. Yeah. And we being 30-somethings, we've experienced that transition.
Right.
My cousins and nephews, like who are just getting out of high school, natives to this economy.
But that's like the most sought after job right now is social media. Dude. We do an intern program. Yeah. And so we put it out there for, specifically high school seniors. Hey, we want to come and learn what we're doing, whatever. I can't tell you, man. We had so many applicants. It was, I want to do this my life. I want to just post Instagram reels. And I'm like, what? Wow.
But what's the general... When they come in hot, high school, graduate, or seniors, right? What do you think is the most common theme as far as I want to think like mindset, attitude towards social media that might be different from 30-something's attitude?
Yeah, well, definitely, and this is no slight to any generation or whatnot, but and I don't want to feel like an old person saying it, but The work is the work. You know, at the end of the day, these people, if you've got a few, you know, tens of thousands of followers, you know when I say it's work. It's work. It's now you can love it, so you can say it's not work, but at the end of the day, you got to wake up, you're going to cut, you're going to edit, you're going to look good. You're scripting things, you're putting ideas in, you're making connections, you're doing collabs. So that aspect always gets, you know, overlooked for that bright shiny star, or that, let's say, check mark, blue check mark, or whatever. But normally when the work comes in, and so here's what we've done. This is how I operate, and what I think matters is servanthood mindset. So the idea here is, if you're not afraid of work, you're gonna do great here. If you're afraid of work, you're gonna fail. But that's kind of gonna be with everything. And so sometimes younger folk come on in and they see the flash, you know, hey, you're gonna be working with so and so, and they're like, man, I've been following this. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then we get there, they're starstruck, they're not doing the work, and I'm like, well, it's not gonna happen again, you know? And so I think that's definitely it. Maybe one like quick tip of everything that we're talking about, and the alignment of what's going on. If you've got a business, I'm gonna just call your social platform a business right now. We're talking about monetizing things or whatever. Every good organization has a vision and a mission. And if you don't have one for yourself, that's probably why you're not taking that next step, whatever that step is. So that's what we've seen is, if I say, hey, Kenj, you've got all these YouTube guys. And I go, what is your vision and mission for your project? And if you can't say it off, you know, real quick, you don't got like a true North Star. You don't got a direction, so the decisions you make are always hard. We find that the people that understand, hey, my vision is to be the #1 makeup tutorial thing for eyeliner, like super specific. And the vision is, I'm gonna do that by doing educational videos twice a week, and I'm also gonna bring in guest artists that's gonna help others do that. If you can't lay it out that clear, that's probably why you're stuck in some sort of way, and that's probably why you're not getting the financial returns, that ROI or ROT, your return on time, more so. And if you were to figure that out, from what I've seen, it unlocks everything.
Yeah, we said we're gonna end 10 times.
Sorry,
but wait, let's really end on this though.
Okay, end.
Tell me then, on that note.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
Tell me, who do you follow? Who do you look up to?
Yeah.
When it comes to these, because look, like we were talking about earlier, I don't know if we're recording or not, but the playbook, these playbooks that we are interested in, that we are actually building ourselves in our own way.
Yeah.
Just simply through the work. Work is the work. Who do you look to?
Yeah.
When you're not, I don't want to say lost.
Yeah.
But when you need that guidance, push, juice, like who are some people you look at?
So for me personally, I'm a strong Christian. You know that. So it's Bible, it's Jesus, it's Proverbs and Psalms. Man, if you want to learn what's going down, read Proverbs, because it's a book of wisdom written by the wisest person ever to walk on the earth, except for Jesus. And then Psalms, if you want an uplift. But I've got a network of people that are like-minded, of other CEOs and business owners that pour into me. I got a spiritual father. I got my father, my dad. But here's what I would say is, look at the people in the industry that you want to not emulate, but you look up to, and take what are the characteristics of that, and then surround yourself with those people. In this industry, here's some people that I personally go, man, I love what they're doing. Ronnie Banks. If you know Ronnie, you don't know Ronnie, I'm telling you, he's as pure of a person talking to him. But like, if you see the way he does things, you want to talk about monetizing and understanding your followers and understanding your mission, your vision. I can't find anyone else that is clearer. Another guy, local guy, Chef Kale, Hawaii's Only.
Yeah.
He's got this. There's like, you can't measure aloha, but if there wasn't an aloha measuring stick, but if you walk around the like community with that guy, he is so genuine. But the thing is, he understands where he's going, and he's a collab guy, so he's gonna bring people with you. Another person that might be a little weird to say, but like Jaylene Shelton. I don't know if you know Jaylene.
Yeah.
Jaylene. So she's on the West Side. She's a mom of what, 7 or 9 kids. So I think it's 7. Sorry, sis, if you hear that. I think it's 7. But she's someone who's like understands who she is through pain. She's been through a lot, and she's real. And there's like she's unapologetically her. And so those 3 people, as I'm like going around and I'm like, oh, I gotta give a shout out. One,
what?
Jeff Osborne. You probably don't know who he is. If you don't know who he is, go follow him.
Okay.
He does this thing called God Morning.
Okay.
He's inspiration all the way. But he's a coach to a lot of NFL football players and like the who's who.
Okay.
This guy understands his followers, and so those are the people that, you know.
I appreciate it. No, I mean, we kind of like didn't plan to, but we kind of shot a little podcast episode. I'm so happy about it.
Not supposed to be that way.
We were just to talk, but then I was like, yo, man, that's the whole thing too. It's like, if you don't create something that means something to somebody, doesn't matter if it's 1 follower or 1 million, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
To your light point.
That's so good.
Bring in your light, right?
Yeah.
So appreciate you, bro. We could go all day.
Yeah.
But thank you, man.
Oh, just being here.
Hey,
Come on.
that's what's up, baby. That's what's up.